I thought I was going to record something here at the end, now that I'm done for the day, to put at the beginning, just giving you a little explanation of like, here's what we're in for today. We're looking for wildlife. It's mostly driving and things like that, and we just talk for a while. But what's up with that? What is up with this? Why? I want to address it. I don't really care much about what I look like, to be honest with you, but it's the only hair I have left, right? So I just put a little bit of effort into it. I'm trying to grow it out, and I'm actually caring and doing more product stuff for it, and this is going well, but why does this still suck? And why does it just do whatever it wants all the time, no matter what I put into it? I really don't like mustache wax, but boy, am I tired of this. And everything I read, everywhere, like from people who have full mustaches, and they're like, what can I do? They go, just let it grow. Just let it grow. It's going to grow in, and then you'll be able to comb it to the side and stuff. Don't trim it. And I always get to a point where it's in my mouth and it's annoying, and I trim it. So I thought I'd just address that at some point. Because if it bothers you, think about how much it's bothering me. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Hey everybody. It's raining. Obviously, we could just stay home. Or we could come out anyway and look for birds. Birds are out in the rain. It's something. We can try. I think this is going. I moved some stuff around. We're going to do it again. This will look different. Next time it'll be better. I have some things coming that I needed to order in order to fix this setup. I also did not put this... You can't see, can you, on any of the... Oh, well, I guess on the GoPro. You can see that the tripod is there again. We're done doing a trip to the airport with a passenger. So I could put the tripod back, and I hastily did that this morning, and I need to take some time to actually do that. Oh, there's stuff on the water. All right, we'll get in there. We need to set up the cameras. Let's see. They close down going that way when you have a valid pass. The entrance station is closed as usual, but I have the pass. Ba-doop. So we can continue on. Somebody's out fishing in the rain. Yeah, that makes sense. I could probably get out and walk around, but I don't want to get that wet. The cameras are weather sealed, so it wouldn't be the worst thing, but it's not exactly fun. And I don't think we're going to get very good pictures without a lot of light, which we do not have right now and may not have. So this is more the excuse just to get out. There goes a goose. Yeah, we'll come up here like we do, and I'll just park and drive around and look and see what we could see and take pictures of what we can. Yeah. Let's pull in here. This is St. Vrain. I don't know if I said that, but if you've... I mean, I've been here multiple times. This is a pretty good spot, typically. Okay. I hope this is working. It has the microphone option. Yes, I can see it going up and down with levels. This is different. We did change that out since last time. And this GoPro mount, can you see it here? Kind of. It's going to change too. And this angle isn't great. We're going to move this. My goal, we're doing a lot more driving stuff. And so I'd like a slightly better setup. I also would like to have it be as safe as possible, is the other side of this. I want to move the camera back. I need full window view. Basically, I try to minimize as little as I can of blocking things, but I also, like, that works. I can't really roll down the window that much, but it'll do. I'm going to move this. Anyway, that's future stuff. That'll be in a few weeks. But anyway, and anyhow, and any who, all the innies. Wait, what? We're back with Severance? No. Oh, we're going to set up the cameras. We've had quite a time today with already just getting out. It's 7:45. We left a while ago. Obviously drive a little bit slower in the rain, you know, make sure. Just slow down a bit. There's no reason to be hasty. But we also ran into some trouble setting, as I said. I was setting this stuff up. The last time we came out, we had a problem with this GoPro. I don't know what it was. It seems to be giving me trouble left and right sometimes. Unexplainable. Because I've already had one memory card fail outright, which is fun. And I don't use that memory card anymore. But it wasn't quite doing the same thing, but we did lose some clips last time. I should not be doing that with my sleeve, but I don't know if I brought, because I'm in the middle. Get off of there. Now I'm just putting fingerprints all over it to get this one cat hair off that was on my sleeve, and that's why you shouldn't do that. And you shouldn't blow on it either because your spit just gets on there. Get off of there. It's like it's magnetized. There we go. Now it's covered in... Do I have any kind of cloth? I didn't bring a usual camera bag. Okay, that's good. All right, wide angle. Battery. Anyway. I'm in the process of redoing the bags. I have something coming that we'll talk about next week. That hopefully will be here on Monday, maybe? We'll see. We'll see. But, right, we had a GoPro problem. This would be about the point where I realize I'm not even coherently making sense, and I just cut the video and started over, but we've already been going for 5 minutes, so welcome to me not having my thoughts in order, unsurprisingly. GoPro issue. Don't know what that was about. Swapped memory cards, and it's kind of related to when I put this camera in my car, which that's a dash cam. That's just in case accidents or if I witness anything. I also thought, hey, you know, it'd be cool if I could pull the clips from it. It records, it doesn't do 4K 60 like all of the stuff that we record here. So it would do, but it's not going to be the ideal quality. Besides, it's a tiny sensor anyway, which is something I know, but anyway. I think it's doing 1440, 60, maybe? Something like that, or 1080. Whoops. There goes the mic. I'm going to move that for next week, too. Sorry about that. It's okay. Hopefully we won't be using it as much. It'll be a backup, because hopefully this thing sounds good. That was kind of the whole point of getting that. So, GoPro issue. How did we solve that? Well, because I mentioned the dash cam, when I got the dash cam, they recommended a certain type of memory card. They recommended their own brand of memory card, which, yeah, cool. So I got a cheap one that I don't remember what the brand was. It wasn't theirs. I didn't want to pay that much extra for an SD card. Just a micro SD card. Doesn't have to be fancy or anything, but it does have to be a micro SD card of a certain quality, caliber. I don't remember. But anyway, it's been doing fine. We've now had this this dash cam for months, I think, at this point. And it's been, I haven't had any trouble with it. Literally none. Put it up, it works. I've pulled clips off of it. I haven't had anything major to, I charged these batteries. Why are you showing half full? I'm going to swap the charger on that. That's great. Let me figure out some other solution for that. Maybe there's something wrong with the charging. I don't know. It's fine. All right, there's good. I get in the car today, and I start setting this stuff up. And I turn on the car, and I get the windows defrosted and everything. It's raining, and I start setting up the tripod again. I took all of this down, because if the passenger is going to sit here, you know, my significant other, while I take her to the airport, didn't have to pick her up. She rented a car because it was going to be very, very late. She rented something awesome. Man, we could talk about that at another point, but like, whoa. Anyway, this is going good. So I had to set back up, you know, this mount for the GoPro, this suction cup mount for the gimbal, set up the tripod again. I'm doing all that, and I'm just sitting here doing that, and all of a sudden this dash cam starts beeping. Why is it beeping? That's the last thing I want, is to hear beeping from something right now. says card slow, which means that the off-brand card, the cheaper one that I got, that I don't remember who made it or whatever, it's still to the same specs, but it's made by a third party that I don't trust as much as some of the other ones. Yeah, it's a really good idea. I just picked that scab. Now I have blood on me. Great. So I was expecting, that's why I bought two when I bought that one. I bought one cheaper and I bought one more expensive, because the more expensive one was like a Samsung and they're a better quality at the very least, but you pay a higher price. And I went, I can still use this for other things. That's what's in here now. The GoPro now has the Samsung one in there and it seems to be fine, and hopefully that solves that issue. But the last thing I needed was for this thing to come up and be like, oh, the card's slow, you need to put the better one in here. I'm using it now. It's literally been untouched, sitting on my desk for months, because I didn't think about it until I had this issue the last time when I came out with the GoPro and it failed to record things. Anyway. It seems to be fine. I just unplugged it and plugged it back in and it seems to be fine. So hopefully it's not actually slow. Hopefully it is recording. It says it is. I'll check the clips to make sure we're not getting any issues or anything. But yeah. Yeah. What a fun time we are having today with the issues of what we're going through. What do we have here? Starlings. It appears to be starlings. So yeah. When I come back out in 2 weeks, on the next outing, this will be different. I got to figure out what to do about this. I'm putting this gimbal back, but like this tripod is no longer as secure as it was. And it took me a while to get that the first time. So I don't think that really surprises me that it's not exactly as I expected from before. So cameras are set up. We don't need these little caps. I actually brought the binoculars like I said I was going to. I can't roll down this window though. So we're going to be looking for stuff out. I mean, I can a little bit, but it does move. Whoop, there they go. All right. I'm going to do a little bit of driving. I'm going to do a little bit of talking. I'm going to do a little bit of photography. It'll be good. Yeah. All right, so first pond right here was a pair of heron. Somebody just spooked them, but yeah, there's really not much light or anything out here to get good pictures. I took a little video though for a few seconds. It's not great, you know, quality. Anything else we got out here? Somebody just pulled up while I was doing that. I heard a car, but I was focusing on the bird. And then I noticed that they were pulling up right next to me and like angled towards my car. And I went, what? It's that guy who just drove past. He was waiting. He saw me taking a photo and then waited and then pulled up and asked me if I'd seen any osprey or bald eagles. He was out doing the exact same thing and commented on how I'd picked a good spot at this pond. It's like, yep, I'm just going to be driving around looking. But anyway. Might be better to do video today on both of them. I don't need nearly as fast of a shutter speed. Let's go up and drive around. Oh, well, I guess we'll just leave this down then, huh? There's a big rock there, so let's not hit that. Well, nobody coming or anything. There's the heron again. Maybe I flew to the opposite end of the pond when somebody went by on their bike on the trail that goes right next to it. What's that? That's a stump in the water. Some geese walking right next to us. There was a pair of these heron. I wonder if this is Heron Pond. I forget which one it is. There actually is one. They're all kind of named after different things. Okay. Well, let's head to one of the other ponds. There's a bunch around here, and there are several. I think this is probably, like the guy was saying, the closest one you can get to from while staying in the car. But there are a few others we can check out. He was saying bald eagle activity mostly. Apparently he was curious about osprey. Which, I like all of it, so I'm not picky. Alrighty. It is what it is. You get to see what it is. That's, there's something I was thinking about as I was editing the last time. I was putting something together, and I have this flow of like, go out, see something, think it's cool, get back, do the editing, just working on a vlog, editing the footage, maybe go, it's not as cool as I thought. Oh, this part, I thought I got something different. Is this part, what a bummer. You never know. There's waves to it as my emotions go up and down. And I also think, boy, is this boring? Is it not? But there should have been something there for me to go. But then there's this, but it is what it is. If there's anything I can say about it, I'm sure that's high enough up. It's real. Everything I'm doing is real. I don't fake anything. I don't over dramatize it. I don't. Is that a word? Let's drive through this campsite and look at the lake that's right here. Then we'll come back around the other way. This is Bald Eagle Pond. Day use area. Oh, okay. Right here is not camping. Right here is just so you can look at the lake. Well, let's see if we can pull right in front of it. Yeah, there's spots right over there. Because I could park right here by this truck, but if I come over here, pull in, there's a little dock right there. Oh, this is pretty. But yes, real. This is what really happens when I come out and I go looking. Sometimes I don't find things. Sometimes I find lots of things. I'm learning as I go, and that's kind of the point. I thought, if anything, I might not be, good at it, but I can always practice and get better. And that's kind of everything I do. I've been thinking about it in a few different ways. I always considered myself, we'll put it in terms of when I was growing up. I remember not being the best at anything. Of all the friends I had, of all the groups, there wasn't many, but like of everything there, me personally, I was never like the best at any of the things that we did. Sometimes the worst at most of the things, especially console games, because I didn't have like shooters and things like that. I never played them. That was what we did. And we're athletic running around outside, which I had zero exercise doing that because I didn't do that, except when I was playing with them. But anyway, I do remember one time being like, oh yeah, this is exactly what it is. It was the Percy Jackson series, which is a book series, young adult book series that I really enjoyed. And it was, it's about Greek gods and their offspring. They have like demigod children by, doing it with mortals. It's a whole thing. They just did, it's more coming around. They did a reboot of it because the movies that they made were, but they did a reboot that was really good. It's a Disney series now that they did their first season. Bonnie and I watched it a couple months ago. I really enjoyed that. It's got me back into it. I want to read the books again because I haven't read them in many, many years. But anyway, the point of what I was bringing around is when I read those as a child, as a teenager, I remember really like syncing up and going, oh, this is me, when they described the children of Hermes as jack of all trades, master of none, which is, a quote that's been around for a long time. I'm not saying that's just the first place I'd ever heard. I was like, oh, that's me. I'm okay at a lot of things, but there's no one thing that I'm really good at. And that has remained true 20, 30 years later. Even what I'm doing right here and now, I admit I am not the best at by any stretch of imagination, but I'm having fun doing it. There is a red-winged blackbird right in the tree next to me. I can't see it clearly, but there it is. But yeah, so I don't expect anything that I'm doing to be the best at it, but at least it's real. And that's the videos are long and boring. And I often go between that about, like, even right now, in my head while I'm talking about this is a topic I thought of beforehand because I was thinking about it the other day. So I'm regurgitating the thoughts and I haven't had time to really think it through and put them into a good order, which is often how I do it, is I simply have enough of a thought to go into and then I do it. And then I'm here recording it. And right now, as I'm doing it, I'm going, am I accomplishing seeing the wildlife? Am I distracted? Am I not doing the thing that I was supposed to? But it's okay. I talk myself down from that with, well, this is just what you're doing today. You're just out looking. You're not supposed to be quiet sitting in the bush because you decided before you left you would just drive and talk and look and see what you can see. I don't see anything at this pond besides the red-winged blackbird directly in front, directly up a tree, but I would not be able to get a clear shot. It's pretty though. And I'm judging going, is this boring? Does anyone care? And I have to have that debate with myself over and over about whether or not what I'm doing, am I recording something that's actually interesting? And I go, well, okay. I counter my own points sometimes, and that might either be good and it leads to this, or it's bad and it leads to this. You know what I mean? That didn't make any sense. I think about it and I go, okay, there's something for everybody out there as far as content goes, and finding an audience and finding that stuff. It's something I'm rarely ever worried about, but at the same time, it's in the back of my head of like, just do what you're doing. Robin, you want to move? You're just standing right there. Okay. Robin just right there on the road. Somebody was talking about video stuff the other day and it just like being boring. And I was like, what? Okay, so that one's not for you, but it's probably for somebody else. Just find something else. There's unlimited possibilities, literally, with the amount that's been uploaded, just in general on the one platform that there are so many other platforms that I have zero interest in. And that's something else that, like, I was listening to somebody talk about, they are doing this as a business, not this, but content creation in general. They're mostly playing video games. And that's what I watch a lot of. But they were also talking about having to, like, the amount of work to take that content and then cut it into shorts on YouTube, which is not something I care about, or put it on TikTok or other. Oh, look, rabbits. I don't think you can see, but they're cute. Um, and I thought about that, and I don't think I need F16 right now. Thank you very much. There we go. Yeah, there was a pair of them. I don't know where the other one must have gone down. Oh, and there's that one. Okay. Um, Shooting through the window is not the best idea, but like it is what it is. There's a gull overhead. I don't know. They're doing that to be found and do those things, and I think about it from the way of, like, as a listener, just listening, doing those things, and also in the fact that, like, I take it, for what I'm doing and think about it and go, is that something I should be incorporating? Because imitation is, what's the quote? Flattery or something like that. We're all just copying each other. Originality is not exactly, depends on how you look at it with what's achievable for being original and what's just a regurgitation of something else. And Simpson did everything first. Isn't that what South Park said? Wasn't there a whole episode called that? Simpsons did it, where they just kept doing that. They're like, yeah, man, it's been on the show forever. It's been on the air forever as a TV show. Of course they're going to have done it, but that doesn't mean it's not worth doing still. But anyway, I think about that with, like, what is it I'm doing and what do I want to be improving and what do I want to change? And we're going to be starting something new in a few weeks. That won't be nearly as often, but we'll get to that when we get to that. I don't like to talk too much in advance about things that haven't happened yet. That is something that I've learned is, like, I like to hear about it, and if it's a possibility, talk about it. And that's basically what I'm doing in general. Everything here, in every possible way, is simply what I want to do, what I would want to. What am I trying to say? I suppose. What does this sign say? Nobody go this way? Probably nobody go this way. No unauthorized vehicles. Yep. Okay. We go back this way then. A lot of rambling thoughts today is what it is. Oh, that's a nice old car. What is that? It's not our station wagon. That's more like a truck. We had station wagons, but I don't think that counts as a station wagon, does it? I can't actually tell. It's cool, though. Anyway. What was I... Boy, I lost the thread on that one, didn't I? See, that's where I start going, oh, somebody's got a converted school bus. That's an idea. This stuff is cool. Having an RV would be cool. Couldn't tow it in this thing, but that would be cool. Anyway, yeah, if it's something that I'm just, like, dreaming about, or, I have no exact plans to do, like, I know what I'm doing in a few weeks. So I'd rather not talk about it, because it definitely will be a thing. And if I talk about it and get hopes up or something, or I'd rather just wait. Getting hopes up is the one thing I don't like doing, my own and other people's, for something like that. If it's like, I'd love to own an RV one day. I know I'm not going to own an RV anytime soon, so that's the kind of thing that I feel like I can just throw out there and it's fine. But if I talk about, like, if I had a trip planned where I was going to rent an RV, you can do that, can't you? Oh, there's a heron. Just herons today. Wait, what's that over there? Something. Still water. Anyway, come back around to, yes, in theory, someone just sitting in a car quietly looking, doing whatever, can be boring. And in general, all I try to do is be, like, the only things I can think of is be real. What goes into my head of, like, what is it I'm going to create? What is it I'm going to do today? Hopefully achieve the goals of seeing wildlife, or taking cool pictures or video of the wildlife. That is my main point of when I'm coming out. but in a realistic way. I don't want to fake anything. I don't want to pretend something wasn't real. And that's maintained across everything. Even the second channel with just gameplay. I ran into something while I was recording yesterday and I went, this was foolish. I could easily cut around that because I should have learned that a while ago. No, it's all real. You're watching in real time if you are, and I understand if you're not because the gameplay is not for everybody. Especially me, who is not doing it as an entertaining, like there's that other side of it with people that I watch who are doing it as an entertaining thing. That is more just me wanting to play games and collecting it and, having a footage collection of me experiencing these games. I really started that up simply because I was already doing it and playing some games. As a matter of fact, we could bring it back around and I can reveal the one time that I can remember doing something that I would consider like off camera as a setup, as like a planned bit. Call it that. Because obviously I have ideas for things and I come up with stuff and I'll record and, think about it beforehand. If you don't think about it and you just go into it, you really do, especially with me in my mind. I just ramble forever and then there's dead air and it's not interesting. But at the same time, I watch people who, like, I'll watch Adam Savage, great videos, as he's just talking and thinking and building a thing, and go, that's really cool, I like that, and that's interesting to me, and many other people too. Is it really that different from me coming out looking for wildlife and talking and just talking through everything? Yes, but no, it's just someone talking. I mean, that's what a podcast is, right? For the most part, depending on what it is and what they're doing. So those are the things that flip around in my head as to what I'm doing and try to be like, well, now let's make a point. Because I do watch other people who've made vlogs and I go, wow, I really want to be able to do that. And I just don't have those skills currently developed, and I'm working on it with thinking about, some people put a lot of thought and effort into it and have like planned topics to talk about. And some people are just out exploring. Some of the other people that I watch who do like camping stuff. So anyway, the one thing I was starting to say, and that's the other thing that I don't care for, simply because I don't like to, well, I think I started saying multiple things now. We got to bring it back around to what it was that I started saying, didn't finish multiple times. One of them was about, I at the very least do my best to make stuff. Where's that big bird? Make stuff that I would want to watch. There's somebody with a camera taking a picture of that in flight. Oh, there it goes down. There's a car behind me. Oh, hit the water. Is that an osprey? I think it's white enough there was an osprey grabbing something. That's cool. Hope that guy got a really good shot. Dang. I don't think that's going to come through. There's no way, because I don't have an ND filter on this thing. It's all pure white, and this thing's facing forward. It was completely out the side, but what a moment. Oh, man. I don't know if it got anything, but yeah, slammed into the water. Big bird of prey. Pretty sure an osprey or a bald eagle. Can't tell from here. Didn't want to stop because there's a car behind me. We'll go up here and turn around up at the pond that I usually go to. Nice. Very cool. All right, so that guy just sits there. He's got camera wrap stuff on. Maybe that's something I should do. Just sit by the water and wait, and then you watch. That's probably it. Anyway, I at the very least, try to keep it in the back of my head of do things that I would be like. Obviously, I don't watch the stuff myself that I'm doing, but I would watch someone else in that way if it weren't for this specific topic. If it's something else that I find interesting, so if it's somebody, I don't know, repairing an electronic or building something, like I talked about Adam Savage, or going out and exploring something like that. I don't specifically like watching the wildlife related stuff specifically. I judge myself far too harshly about what I'm doing, so I avoid doing that. I always have. I started out at the beginning watching people who are interested in cameras and technology, and I also still do that, about the technology part of it itself, but I don't watch anyone very specifically. I don't consume any content that is wildlife related because I just wind up hurt. It's a negative thing for me as I sit there and I just go, oh man, this person's doing so much better. I shouldn't even be bothering. Clearly other people have it covered and doing it in much better ways than I can. But I will absolutely sit there and listen for like a 2-hour video of someone just talk through their experiences, their feelings, their emotions, their thoughts. Absolutely. And so I realized that that's the kind of thing. If I make something that at least I would want to watch, if it weren't about this topic and it weren't me doing it because I have no interest in listening to myself, then it'll be fine. And as long as I'm not faking it and it's real and I'm doing things that I believe in, which is being respectful to the wildlife, following all the rules, then it should be fine. And the one example I did where I bent a rule, well, I staged something. It was a year or two ago. I don't remember now how far back, but I was doing the videos. I made a series that I was doing on this channel that was wildlife kind of, but it was my ideal setup of like if it were virtual. I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and I was looking for wildlife in the video game and taking pictures in the video game, practicing a little bit and having fun. And everything up to the final, I think it may very well have been the last episode I ever recorded because it kind of ruined it for me. And I went, yeah, I want to take a break from this anyway. I was pushing myself a lot for that. But it was called Waiting and Watching, I'm pretty sure. And you would go out and you'd wait and you'd watch. And I just spoke in a very quiet voice, kind of, the joy of painting. What's his name? Bob Ross. Thank you. There it is. A little inspired by that, but making it wildlife related. It was a lot of fun. It was really good. And then the final one, I went, okay, I've modded the game already. I'm out here. I'm doing this stuff. Are you still recording? Yes. I'm out here and I switched to recording it on PC because the Xbox version was not looking so good. My whole point was to make it look as good as possible. But then I was using a switcher that isn't made for gameplay. That bitrate wouldn't look good. So I was never really happy with it, which was another reason why I decided to stop doing that. Was it never really looked the way I wanted to. And it was just a side project thing. It wasn't like this was my main anything. So I wasn't willing to spend a bunch of money. I could do it now. We got quite a setup now. We could easily do that. But anyway. What was I saying? I started doing that. I had modded the game to get better control of the camera, better options for those things, make the game look better with better graphics, do some HD upscaling to 4K or something like that, even though it was still being captured at 1080 regardless. But then I went too far. I figured everything else was there because it's just a video game. It really shouldn't matter. But the integrity of it is that I was going out and I was just looking for stuff that was there. And the one time I spawned something in, it was the legendary white moose. Because we hadn't really seen anything. Heron just went right across in front of us. We hadn't really seen anything, and I thought it would be interesting. But it glitched, and it just stood there. And it didn't move. And it broke it. And I played it off as best I could. It was like, oh, okay, it's still not moving or whatever. And I didn't reveal right then and there that I'd spawned it in. I'd never had that happen before. I'd never spawned in an animal. But it kind of breaks the spirit of like, you just go out and see what you can see. I would not go to a nature preserve, pretend not to, like here in real life, pretend not to, don't say that that's what it is, where you have like basically an animal in captivity and then shoot around that. I would be upfront and honest about where it is and what I'm seeing. That's the whole point. And digitally should be the same, is what I kind of considered in my head. And it wasn't. I faked it that one time. It broke. It didn't work very well. And I got bummed out. And then all the other problems that had happened with the recording and that stuff. And I went, you know what? It's just really, really not for me right now. Or I just wanted to take a break. I'm going to go back to that. I always kind of keep that. The fact that I'm doing stuff and like I have plenty of time. We have so much time. There's always more time to do stuff until there isn't anymore. But like this isn't a 5-year and then I'm done kind of situation. I'm not going until then. I expect to be recording and making things for, as long as physically possible. So I can always go back. And that's kind of why I started doing gameplay stuff as well, as I'm playing games to get it on record and to, experience it and have a good time and have that nostalgia, especially for older games I haven't played in a very, very long time. Bald eagle? Man, that was a cool moment that guy saw. We saw it too. I saw it with my eyes. Nothing captured, but I've definitely seen a lot of osprey around. So it was either an osprey or it's so dark. There's very little light out, so it's hard to tell. I can't see. There was a large bird that just flew over there, and it may have landed on that tree, which is exactly the tree that I often can walk to and see. It's not raining quite as much, but yeah. Anyway. Let's move to the other spot, I think. Oh, little rabbit. And little rabbit went back. Okay. Have I talked enough about that? About the how and the why, I guess? More the why and not the how. The how is what we're doing. Pull into this space. Am I missing the person here? I must be. Probably camping. Probably somebody in one of these RVs right here. There's like 4 or 5 fishing poles actively set up, although I think their lines are in. Yeah. No, wait. Maybe they are actively out there. I mean, they're set up. There are places. There's the handles to put your fishing rod. Canadian geese out on the water or cackling. Kind of hard to tell from here. Where did that bigger one go? It may have been the same one from that other pond as that guy did a dive. I keep referring to it as that way. Unsurprisingly, given everything I'm doing, I'm thinking about it from the perspective of the person with the camera watching the wildlife. I hope there was enough light that he got a good shot of that. Because I don't know, given the light situation, how clear it would have come out. But hey, it's certainly possible. Anyway. Oh. Taking off or not? No, I think there was just a little scuffle on the water there with the geese. Alrighty. Next spot. know why my steering wheel is doing that. I did bring some gloves. Where did I put them? Should probably be wearing those. Where did I put them? Did I tuck them under my leg or something? No? I had them in my pocket. Did I put them in my bag? Maybe. We'll find a spot. Turn around. Go back over along that way. What's that up in the tree? Way up there. Wait. Way up there? There it is. That's a robin. Okay. Pretty though. Anyway. I did tuck them under my leg, but they fell out. Do a little circle of these ponds. St. Vrain is nice for a few things. There are always people here. These campgrounds are always full. I think that that's something that they actually like. There is a sign, and I think it's just permanently attached at this point. Or I've never seen it not showing, saying, hey, the campgrounds are full. So I think they genuinely just keep it pretty well packed at all points in time. But there's a trailhead here. I mean, that's an empty camping spot. I wonder how much it is. Because I could easily do that just as it currently is in this situation. I can sleep in the back of my car. And then I'm out here already. I think about buying one of those vans as well. Not that I could really afford that anytime soon either. I can afford little things. Saving up for the big stuff, though, takes a lot longer. And during that time frame, there's a lot of other things that I suddenly go, oh, but what about this? What about this, medium-sized purchase as compared to some of the others? And I don't make any progress towards the big stuff. Currently, we're talking about the car. I guess they set up a little cage for their dog there. I'd not seen that before. And I see a lot of people who are out here, I don't want to say permanently, but like, oh, they even have electric vehicle charging. There we go. That's the next thing I'm kind of thinking about. There is a car. Have I talked about it already? I think I have. But I really like the look of it. I've seen the concept, which is all that currently exists. They said they'll be making it 2027 is when they expect to have the mountain production, and there's no way I can afford one right when it comes out. So I am thinking more along the lines of check, I gonna go or not? Yeah, go ahead. I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe used after a couple of years, like 2030. Hopefully debt-free by then. I mean, definitely debt-free by then. Even if I don't make any extra payments towards what I'm working on, it will be debt-free by then for sure. But with the extra payments, it should be much, much sooner than that. Finally have a plan for that actually seems realistic and attainable, which is nice. They caught a fish. Maybe 2030. I didn't actually say. It's by Scout, the Traveler. It's the SUV thing. It's like this. I used to drive smaller. Multiple people with golf carts that have like all the cleaning accessories, and I guess they just bring a golf cart for going around. It makes me think that they work here and they go around cleaning up the park or something, but I think they just clean their stuff or their RV or whatever you have, and they just have a little a golf cart that they bring with them. They say somehow. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm not really interested in doing that. I don't want to. Oh, there's blue. There was blue. Nobody's there at the dump station. Pull over right here. Back up. Oh, if we can see a bluebird. It's the one thing we've been wanting. I know I shouldn't be necessarily backing up like this, but where did it land? Where did it go? Was it in this tree right here? Kind of looked like it. Definitely saw something blue. A bird, obviously. It just flew. It looked like near this dead tree stump right in front of us. But I don't see it now. And it may have moved while I was backing up. I kept my eyes open, but I didn't see it. Dang it. Anyway, it's just a theory. I would like an electric vehicle for multiple reasons. But the only thing that really kept it, there are two main obstacles as to why that doesn't seem realistic at this point in time for me. One is the cost. I bought my first car for $1,000. It was a Ford Taurus, 1995, no, Ford Escort, 1995, for $1,000, and it lasted for a few years before it started overheating and having issues and needed some stuff and a bunch of repairs done to it that I don't know how to do. My mechanic father knew how to do them and didn't want to, which I don't blame him, but his friend at work did that just for fun. That was his hobby, was rebuilding cars. So he took it off his hands and rebuilt it and then sold it back to my dad, who bought it back for one of the younger siblings. That car lasted for a few more years before, I think, more overheating issues. But I swapped out, my second car was a Ford Taurus, an old police car. They used the Taurus. Did we die? I think we lost our... I didn't plug it in. Why didn't I plug it in? Hold on. Okay. We'll have this in a minute. Let me get the battery charge. I don't see any more blue. I don't know if there's a bluebird. If there was, then came and went, maybe. I definitely saw something. It was blue, but I have a feeling I don't know when that thing died, so I don't know when I lost that. I don't know why I didn't plug it in. I didn't even think about it. All right. Onward. Another park, maybe? Sure. Not done yet. Anyway, so first car, Ford Escort, right? Little thing, hatchback. It worked. I'm a bigger guy, for sure, and it did what it needed to do and got me back and forth to work and home. I used to drive it, I don't know how many miles, but it would, take me like an hour. I was terrified of driving on the interstate. Never really liked it, still don't. Avoid it whenever I can. Too many cars. Too many cars going too fast. Just not really a fan of it. Never really been all that comfortable with it. So I would avoid it because I didn't mind it taking a little bit longer, going a little bit further. I used to do that. And because I didn't own a washer or dryer for probably the first, 2 or 3 years after I moved out from my dad's house, I went home every week or every other week to do laundry. He was always like, you're welcome, there's food, you're welcome to come do your laundry, whatever you need. Happy to have me come home, and I was happy to do that, and I would come home and do laundry and then go back. That lasted for a couple of years until I got my own setup with a washer dryer. I think we actually moved into an apartment that came with a washer dryer. We definitely did. Yeah. I lived by the Mall of Georgia at that point, and those apartments were fancy. I lived with someone who wanted something fancier, and those were out of my price range for sure, but we struggled and did it. Well, okay. I paid everything that I could. I went, here's how much I make. I was working at Walmart at the time. And I just flat out went, here's how much I make, here's how much I can contribute to rent. It's not going to be a 50-50 split, but then we can have the apartment that you want. And she was okay with that. If I remember correctly, boy, that was a long time ago. But I think that's what happened. But it was nice. It was a nice place. It was gated. Not that the gate worked all that often, but it was gated. You technically needed a key card and had to punch in and have it call somebody to let you in. Anyway, see if that's enough battery charge to get it going out the front again. 2%. But is it charging? I don't know. We're not on a main road yet. It doesn't show the charging symbol, but it would be shut off if it didn't have that, right? There's not a spot I can pull over up here, is there now? I've kind of committed. I should have turned around in the parking lot back there and maybe swapped a battery or something. I do have others. I'm so tired. We're fixing this, but I'm so tired of this thing because I always have to, you know what? I can't pull over here, actually. Here. One of the issues I've had, I'm completely off the road if somebody needs to go past. One of the issues I've had with this thing, besides battery, it just went up in charge. It is charging. It just doesn't show that while it's, okay, cool. No, we're good. If it's direct to there, it doesn't need enough battery to keep it going. We're good. Anyway, there are other parks around. Let's drive somewhere else. What was I talking about? Cars was what I was going to get back to. I drove that Ford Taurus for many years until it completely... When did I buy that? Bought that after a year or two of owning the Escort. Then I had that one for probably another 3 or 4 years. But that got to the point where they could not, some kind of, boy, I don't know cars. Is that kind of obvious? Some kind of something. Has that always been there? Has it always been that brick thing? Yeah, probably. That stood out a little different to me, and it looks kind of new, so it's possible they built it up further, but I thought it was just that metal fencing. All right, this road. Oh, wait. They're coming to a stop. We get a green light, and those people are waiting to turn anyway, so I can go. Nice. Perfect timing. Sweet. Anyway. This thing's still going? Seems to be. There we go, and there we go. And get up to speed. 65 on this road, which seems a bit excessive if you ask me. But no one's asking me. I don't make the rules. For good reason. Anyway, I owned that car for a couple of years. That Ford Taurus. It got to the point where something, I don't think it was the axle, but something in the wheels were cocking the wheels, and they couldn't, they were like, you'll have to replace all of this. It's going to be like a $3,000 fix. I paid $1,000 for the car. It was not worth that much, and I did not have that much money. I put money, every car I bought for those amounts were fully sunk cost, just continue putting more money into it over and over, right? Because I had to repair this, I had to get new tires, they had to rebuild, what did they do? There's a guy, I remember the situation, but I don't remember how much it was, but I do remember them putting work into it. Anyway, it got to the point where I was like, well, can I drive it? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. It's not going to break, but you're going to wear through tires very quickly because they're no longer, we can't balance them basically. And so it puts the tires at an angle where it just rubs it down. And it would every couple of months, wow, that's a fair amount of geese. Every couple of months, I'd have to replace one of the tires. And I would just constantly go buy used tires, do a rotation thing, have them put on there, just get another used tire, just patch kind of situation. But it would run it all the way down to steel cables on one side. That's how messed up it was. Eventually I sold that to somebody else, explained the full situation to the kid who was younger than me. I was like, I just need a car for, $1,000. And I went, I bought this car for $1,000. It's probably worth $1,000. I tried to sell it to some other kid who was like, well, I'll buy it. I was like, okay, yeah. I'll go as low as like 800. It was still worth that once you put the time into it, kind of. I just didn't want to drive anymore, and I didn't really feel comfortable driving it. But he wanted to buy for like $200. But no, I'm not. It's worth more than that in parts alone. I'm not going that low. And then I did wind up selling it, but I had already bought a new car at that point. I had gotten a better paying job. I could afford something a little bit nicer. And I bought a Hyundai Sonata, because that's what my dad drove, and I liked driving that. That's the reason I bought it, is that he had one. I bought one of the same year. I just bought the lower down model. I couldn't afford anything better than that, but even that was the most expensive thing I'd ever bought, and I was very happy that I got it. I wanted it to be no more issues. That's really what I was buying, was peace of mind, right? And that's, I feel like, what you're doing when you're getting something like that is you're buying peace of mind. I was buying something that was a couple years old. I think it was, I want to say, it was a 2013 model, and I want to say I bought it in 15 or 16. So it was a couple years old at that point. And that drove for a while. The only thing is that they had recall after recall on that thing. I think it got up to 8 or 10 recalls, I want to say, with just like little things that had to be fixed. And then they needed to do something where they drained the entire oil, like all the oil out of the car entirely, in order to stick a sensitive microphone in. The guy explained it to me. I was like, this is fascinating. But they had to stick a microphone into the oil system in order to listen for certain sounds when it would do something, to tell whether or not it needed to be replaced, or if they could just say this one was fine out the factory, with whatever the issue actually wound up being. But the real issue was that the steering wheel started clicking horribly. Ka-chunk, 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 clicking, something like that. And it was because... Turn at this light? Yes, I think I do. No, you know what? Let's go one other. I could talk about what's up here. Yeah, and then I can get my way back. There's a park that way that we've been to a couple times. Actually, I think the last time I was out driving, it was this. Anyway, the whole thing, the steering wheel column, the one thing that finally, like, everything else was like, yes, we should get this stuff done. I'll get to it. I don't really have time. I work a full-time job. They're only open full-time jobs, so I have to like take time off in order to go get these repairs fixed. And none of them were super important, life-threateningly stop your car driving what you're doing right now, until the steering wheel thing, because that actually can lock up and it causes an issue. And that whole thing came down to, my dad started having the same issue in his car later. And the guy explained it to me. He was like, I don't know why they made it like this. This is a whole fault of this. But like the way it sits vertically, all the other cars, or majority of cars, their column on the inside of your steering wheel, something, is horizontal. And for whatever reason, they put it vertical. And that meant that just like two metal pieces were grinding on each other. And their solution for that was a little rubber gear that went in there. And that thing is rubber, so it just wears away over time. And yeah, after a couple of years of driving, my steering wheel would ka-chunk as I'm driving and making a turn, it would do that. And I'm like, this can't be safe. It's not like it's jerking the wheel out of my hand or anything, but eventually I went and got that fixed. Okay, so over here on this side, I don't think you can see it here. Hopefully this is still going, yes. This is an old mill. I learned about this the other day because I look up things in this area, especially St. Vrain when I'm coming around, and I heard about this. There was a fire here the other day. It was a sugar mill. Can you see? I hope so. I don't know. It's a sugar mill here. There was a ginormous fire. I saw pictures of it from some of the local news sites here. And it's so old that that sugar mill was built in the 1900s. So it's over 120 years old. And it's been abandoned since the 70s. What I was reading, this is secondhand information that I'm barely remembering, but I looked up the other day after I heard that there was a fire. And this is not the first fire. They've had multiple. There was one just last year that was also really big. And all they do is basically try to contain it and let it burn things down. They don't go in. They don't try to go and do anything. Like, it's so old and decrepit, and there's so much danger in there. It is not worth it to send firefighters in there and risking their lives for an old burned down mill or burning down mill. They do use I drive past it sometimes, especially when we're going out other places, and I've seen, like, it's a huge car lot as well. They just store trucks and work trucks and things like that there. But they use the silos for sugar storage. So the silos are still in use, but the actual mill itself is no longer. And the public is not supposed to be in there, but it's apparently a huge, or it's popular is all I can say, I suppose, with the unsheltered, is what it says. Apparently homeless is not appropriate anymore, but unsheltered. So that's most likely the cause of the fire as well. It's really cool. I remember driving past it ever since we moved to, not this area specifically, but where we did move to, and I've seen it, especially coming up here to St. Vrain, right? I know this area a bit by visiting St. Vrain so often. I don't think this is where I'm supposed to turn, is it? But here we go. I know that there's a park on the other side, so I imagine if I go down this way, where am I? Have I been down this particular road before? I don't know. Anyway, what was I talking about? We're just out driving. This isn't really a wildlife vlog, is it? This is just kind of a mix of everything. I'll just put it up as a generic driving whatever. This, just driving and talking and looking and doing stuff is the exclusive that goes on Patreon for when I'm going and doing things, you know, or just out driving around certain areas and exploring and learning and, you know, seeing what's out there is kind of a thing that that I'll do, and record this exact setup. And I just want to change it slightly, but that is a thing that we put on Patreon. This one can be public though. We'll do that as a little bonus. It's raining. It's actually coming out. The sun's coming out. It's getting kind of nice. So if we get to this park and I can see things from there, that would be cool. I can turn off my lights. It's not nearly as bright now. And I can look up that voice only while driving. What is it called? Now I don't remember the name of the park. Okay. Anyway, what was I talking about? We're out driving, we're exploring. This does seem kind of familiar. I feel like I've come down this road before. And when I was here not that long ago, is it under saved? What was it called? I think I can find it from the map. Zoom out a bit. There's a park right around. We've been there multiple times. What is that giant body of water? That's a reservoir. That's not it. Where? We're facing north, so it would be somewhere along here. Oh. Anyway, let's see. I was talking about that. So I bought that Hyundai, and I had that for a while. Many years. And actually I sold it. I was happy to sell it for a couple of reasons. I sold it summer of 2020. And one, I made quite a profit on it. I don't like thinking about things that way so much because but I did. I bought it for, what did I buy it for? Like, I want to say 13 grand. It's the most expensive thing I've ever purchased up until that point. Obviously now there's camera equipment I bought that's more expensive than that. But like up until that point, I did. And I bought it so that I knew I could make payments on it. Sure, we can go this way. There's definitely a park somewhere around here, but I don't know all the ways around to find it. I think we're about to turn into someone's neighborhood though. Anyway. I bought that for like 13, and there were taxes and fees and things like that. And drove it for 4 or 5 years. I know I sold it in 2020 because used car prices had skyrocketed at the beginning of the pandemic. And I sold it for like 10 grand. Which, like, that I had a couple $1,000s left on it. I don't remember what I got it down to with those payments, 6 or 7 maybe, but I sold it and made profit off of that. And then everything else, like the money that I'd had saved up, and I was furloughed where I was making more money than I was making at the job I was working. Like, all of that led to, I've talked about it, that's kind of where I bought my first video camera and how I got started with some of this stuff. All right. We're just going to park here, and we're going to look for this park that I know is somewhere around here, but I don't remember where. Is it that body of water? No? What is this in the middle here? Is it this? What is this? It shows a building. It's a country club. No, it's not that. Why can't I see, like, parks and stuff? Nope, that's not it. That's not it, that's not it, that's not it. Okay, so it's not under that. Is it under here? No, it's not under that. I don't think it would be there because I've already done this. It's not there. Great, so it's in none of these things here. What was the name of it? Why can't I remember this? It's none of the... What is happening? I've been there. I've been there many times. We were there not that long ago, and it was snowing, and I was taking pictures. It was a foggy day out. There it is. Nope, it's not. We've never been there. Sure, forget it. We'll go. We'll go look at this. This way. Anyway, made money, had money, bought a car when we got there. When we moved across the country. That was another reason, was like, I got to drive the truck anyway, so I'd have to, I can get more money for it. I want a bigger car for what it is I'm doing now, because when I bought that other car, I was just going back and forth to work. Now, at this point, my main focus is going out and seeing wildlife. That's what everything has become and everything that I'm doing. So if that's what I'm doing, I need trunk space. I need, in the back of my head, it was I can get something larger so I can carry camera equipment and be able to go and sleep as well in the back, should I need to. That was the whole reason that I bought this car that we're in right now. And this one, I bought it in 2020, and it was a 2019. So we stepped up a little bit more to an even newer vehicle. And this one was like, what, 18,000? Close to 20? But I was able to put down fully half of it right up front. So I either put down 9 or 10 on it when I bought it, which was really nice. And that is by far the most expensive vehicle I've ever purchased. But we've talked about it before, and I'm bringing it all the way back around. I really want that. I really like the look of, it's a bigger SUV slightly, but it's electric, but it's not the only downside. The two downsides, the cost. Most electric vehicles I've seen are really expensive, far more than I can afford. As I just mentioned, the most expensive vehicle that I purchased was $18,000 or 19 or 20 or something in that range. And that was that was a lot of money. And I didn't expect, the only reason I could do it was because I had so much of a down payment that I could make my payment something I could actually afford. Car's paid off now, thankfully. I own it outright, and I want to drive it for the next few years. If I can get 5 more years of use out of it, that'd be perfect. And then I could afford the next thing I want, the Traveler by Scout. Scout is I think they're owned now by Volkswagen, but I learned that they came to fame long time ago with a truck, but this turns into a turn only, doesn't it? I want to go forward. Well, no, I guess that one does go forward, but you know what? It'll be fine. They made a truck back in, like, I don't know, the 40s or 50s or something like that. Like a pickup truck, but all American made. It was a whole thing, and I learned about it and thought that was really cool. And they've been chugging along with that. It's actually the Scout. It was something that I went, oh, I do know of that vehicle because of a video game. It's like the first vehicle you get, or one of the pickup truck vehicles you get when you're playing SnowRunners, which is a game I played a lot of, and was like, oh, that's a neat little thing. It's not, I'm not making my car buying decision based on that, obviously, but I just went, oh, I recognize that. Oh, I should have turned there. I recognize that because of that. I played a game and I had a little pickup truck, and I went, okay, so I've heard of them. That's a neat thing. But it was mostly because all the electric vehicles, the one is the cost, and this one's expensive, so that's why I think if I wait a couple years, hopefully it will have come down to a reasonable thing that I could maybe afford. Hopefully. I don't know about that, but maybe. And the other thing is that this one, it's all the electric vehicles I've looked at and heard about have 300, 400 mile range. That's about the best you could do, which is kind of what I get out of this. I think I get a little more than 400 out of a full tank of gas on the highway anyway with that stuff, or 300, 400. So it's not like it's a downgrade, but I went, if I did it, my one concern, charging's not everywhere. It's a lot of places, which is good, But gas is everywhere. We are in that transition where that's going to be a thing. And you can put gas cans on the back of your car. I've looked into that for when I go out. Let's say I really go crazy. I've looked into going, especially when I lived in Wyoming, there's a lot of areas out there. And there was one in particular, there was a national reserve that was like, this is hundreds of miles with nothing around. You need to prepare for this. You need to bring extra gas. You need to bring water. You need to bring survival stuff. You can get stranded here. Why am I turning here now, Michael? You fool. This is Main Street. I've been in this downtown area before. It's a really nice little... I prefer this to like downtown Denver. I like smaller downtown. I do not like places that are crowded and everybody's got somewhere to be. And it's all... I like taking the path less traveled, the roads that are more calm and I can explore and look around. I prefer those smaller towns in pretty much every way. Boy, I'm hungry now. I see a little Mexican restaurant over there. That looks really good. Anyway. What was I saying? So the other thing was the range on it, and that's the thing that the Traveler does, which is that they have a gas generator that charges your battery as you go. So it extends the range up to 500 miles. Like, now that's an improvement on like everything. It's electric, it's cool, it's got size that I want. Admittedly, the color that they were showing off as their concept car was orange. I like that. I would like to own that vehicle. That is what I currently... whether or not that actually happens, I have no idea. But it's got all the neat, features and stuff like that. It starts at like $60,000. And I have no idea if within the next... And it wouldn't... I don't think it counts on used anyway. So I don't think I can afford their like tax credits. Like you get $10,000 off if you buy it new. I don't think that counts if you buy it used. So even if it was 50, that's more than double this. Those payments are going to be ridiculous. And the insurance will be more expensive on it for sure because the car is just within its own nature a more expensive vehicle. But that is what I want. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on it when it comes out. Maybe 2027 is when they said they hope to have it out. I would love that if that could be the vehicle that I get to own. But I'm thinking more realistically, a car would be, this one's fine. No problems. Everything's good. I'm happy with it so far. We'll see as it degrades over the next few years. Because that's what happens, is it will just depreciate and degrade as we go. We'll see when it comes out what it looks like and our plans to buy a house and what they look like as well. That's the more important thing. Yes, I could get myself a vehicle. Yes, Bonnie wants a vehicle, obviously. She wants future car, she was saying. So I talked about... was that like an hour ago? I brought up that I took her to the airport. It was the last time we came out. And then I was going to pick her up from the airport, but it turned out being like she wasn't going to get in until almost midnight. And I do not stay up late or drive late. And I really thought that was going to be a dangerous situation because I don't... it just was... And I'd have to get up early for work the next day and the whole thing. And it was like, this is going to be kind of a hassle. So she just rented a car. And she rented a Genesis. What they gave her was the mystery car option. It was literally like, just get the cheapest thing so you can get home. The mystery car was the cheapest thing. And it turned out to be, I figured they were going to give her something. But they gave, what she rented was a Genesis GV60, I want to say, or something like that. Immediately she said Genesis, and I thought, Hyundai. I know that. Because we used to drive Hyundais, my dad and I. We talked about them. And the Hyundai Genesis was their luxury car. And it still is, kind of, but they split it off and made it their own thing. It no longer says Hyundai. They're still owned as a parent company, but I guess they wanted to disassociate that name from them, which I can't blame them. I have zero interest in touching a Hyundai again. I will not. There were too many issues, those recalls, the fact that they made that such an error, in my opinion, with a blunder of the vertical, whatever it was, that caused me to have to take it in, and all the issues there with that stuff. Like, yeah, I'm good. I don't have an interest in getting or driving a Hyundai again if I'm just not interested in it. So it's smart for them to split that off, but yeah, it was nice. She came in, she was like, you got to check this car out. And I went and I sat in it, and boy, did I have a fun, like, oh man, that, like, I didn't drive it. She took it back. I just sat in it for a minute and looked at it and was like, okay, so they've got the full dashboard with that stuff. It looked really fancy. It's a full electric vehicle. It was not that old. I think within the last year or two. I didn't get into specifics. It was early morning and we had to take it back, but I got to play around in it for a minute and play with turn it on and go, oh, fancy, and all this stuff. She said that it would project up your dash up onto the window, which is a really nice thing. I would not mind something like that, so you can see without bringing your eyes all the way down here. That's just safer, as long as there's no danger with them monkeying about with things like putting pop-up ads on your. That's a thing I just heard about, was that something happened and they were like, no, that was a bug, we won't do that again, promise. And it's like, that's a dangerous line. I will not drive a car with ads either. I won't do anything with ads, and that's literally dangerous, to have things popping up and trying to grab your attention. I don't want any of that. I don't even really like having my phone up here, but I do need it for things that I can't see over here, and also it gets tucked away and down, so I don't mind that. But I want zero distractions. I want as much of my windshield free as possible. But anyway, it had something, and she was calling it the future car. The gear selector was a little ball, and I urge you, if you've never seen this was the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's just a gimmick, but like, whoa, it's a ball that flips around, like a sphere that flips around in your dash console here, flips around when you're ready to drive, and on the other side is a knob that you then turn to select your stuff. But when it's facing down and you're in park and your car is off, it's facing up, and it's like an LED it's not projecting, but it is like a LED with these patterns to it, and it's glowing, and I'm like, this is just wild, and it's really cool. And I saw that, I was like, oh, so this is like a touchscreen? Is this how I control it? No, it didn't do that. And then I turn the car on and it flips around, and that's the gear shift. I was like, that's incredible. And that's just a neat thing. So that was really cool. I like all the benefits of something like that. It is very futuristic, very cool, it's a gimmick, but like, I like it. It's a neat little, there's a lot of comforts in those things. That is a nice car. I would never, it's Hyundai, I have no interest in it whatsoever, but like, it's nice. It was nice. That's our luxury. That was more expensive. I figured that was a six-figure car. I figured that was at least $100,000. It's not at all. It was like $60,000. Pretty sure. And packages went up higher. I think they went down as low as 48, I want to say. Like, well, that's cool. It's an SUV. I mean, it's not an SUV. It was a sedan. So zero interest in anything like that. I already said I don't want a Hyundai or anything. I want what I want, and I have it in my head, and I hope that it can become a possibility one day. It just depends on how far in the future it is. And 5 years from now, maybe it could be possible. I'll have to see. I don't know how quickly they depreciate, to see if that's the, is 3 years after? I don't know. I don't look at new cars. That's just not an option. So I have no idea what an average span of a car's life. I wouldn't mind that's a couple years old. I mean, I got this one after a year or two, because they're always like going the year ahead, like through the middle of the year, it feels like. So I expect when I bought a 2019 version in 2020, it was actually probably 2 years old, being in the second half of 2020, and they probably made it in 2018. I don't know. I don't know if that's exactly how it works. That's just what I think in my head when it gets to that, like, possibility, when I try to think about how old it is. But if they make them and they're out in 2027, 3 years later, would they have dropped down to 40,000? Could I afford double the payment on this? That's what I'm thinking. This thing was like, what, 350? No, it was only like 200. The insurance on my old one, my car payment before, was like 350 on the Hyundai, and that was fine because I could afford to do that, and the insurance was like 150. I had a co-signer anyway, and then the insurance rate skyrocketed through everything. It got to the point where I was paying fully the same amount on the vehicle in car payment that I was in insurance. That was insane, and that's when I switched to insurance and thought about getting rid of the car. That was really what, like, doing that stuff and what was happening. And also, who did I have for insurance? I called Nationwide and was like, hey, what, this is insane, and I don't even drive it anymore. I work remote, and I have no reason to do this, and I'm paying, my payments used to be under $200, and now they're almost $400 a month. And they're like, yeah, well, there's nothing we can do. We don't do that. That's not a thing. So, no. Well, what? I can't afford. Oh, shoot. I missed a turn. No, let's turn in here. I don't think this gets me back around to there, but we'll turn. Yeah, it says no outlet. We can turn around in here anyway and maybe come back out and do that thing that we're supposed to do. I understand there's no outlet. Plenty of signs. Wow, that's a nice house. Oh, it's for sale. $2 million. What do you want to bet? Jeez, look at some of these. Is this thing still going? Are you able to see some of these houses? God. Even the ones that don't look anything like that, as nice as this, are crazy pricing though. And this is technically lakefront property because there's a lake right there that we're trying to get to. Yeah, the purple one there. I don't think you can see that either. All right, crest traffic does not stop. Understandable. Pull all the way up. There's nobody coming that way. And there's one thing going that way, so we'll wait until after they go, and then we can turn left. Cool. Still nobody? Still nobody. And then there we go up here, and then we take a left up to here. Okay. All right. Cool. Anyway. Yeah. This car probably won't be worth $10,000 in 2030, I'm guessing. Is it here? Lakeshore Drive. Looks like more neighborhoods. I don't know if there's parking here or anything. I clearly have had this place saved. I've never been here. I was going to go to the other place that I forget the name of. But, yeah, let's come out and look at this lake. We're just driving around Macintosh Lake. I'm driving around, we're looking, but I don't, what does that sign say? Danger, keep off the ice. Okay, I don't think you can actually drive there, but there are people just parked around here. Looks like you could walk around the lake. Is there an actual parking lot maybe somewhere, or is this all just street parking? I think this is all just street parking. A nice lake though, big open. There's a duck crossing the road, or a couple right in front of us. Mallards. Well, go on, there's dogs coming. There's people walking. At least they're on leash, but yep, there you go. Right on over, get to the lake. I wonder if they go live in the backyard of these people's house. Well, no, that's a fence there. They probably can't get around there. Nice trellis. I'm getting plant stuff. We'll talk about plants at another point. There's some ducks down there too. Okay, so some ducks. It's a big open lake there. I don't think there's any chance anywhere. This is all side street. Plenty of parking there, so we could come back here. This is a good little location scout. Let's see, how far can we go down here before we turn around? Whoa. This camera's going to move back, and I don't know if it's going to get the full thing, because there are plenty of things I see out to the side that I don't have a good way to just be like, look at this! Dawson Park. And this, unfortunately, is basically useless for looking out the window. But that's okay. We're going to pivot this. I don't want to use this in this way anymore. It doesn't work anyway, so it's not going to work. We're going to move that so that it's a face cam anyway. We might as well move it to the point where it is just face cam, right? I think we're getting to the point where we could turn around. Yeah, here's the end of the lake with a power, I don't want to call it a plant, but something. What's out there? Look when we come back. We're going to go down, turn around, and come back. A lot of people at work. I mean, these are nice houses. These are probably very expensive. It'd be nice to afford something like this. I think about it in two ways, because I'm like, man, that'd be cool, right? I live right here. I could just walk out and see the wildlife. And then I think, I could never record there again. I'm just going to turn around here. Nobody's coming. I would never... Kitty cat. What are you doing, cat? Why aren't you inside? You were a big fan cat, too. Okay. Facing away from the sun. Don't need the sunglasses now. There, got the binoculars. I couldn't tell if those were stumps or maybe gulls out on the water. pull up right along and look out on the water edge there. There's definitely some rocks. I think those are all just rocks. And sticks. Yeah. Yeah. Rocks and sticks and things. Nothing actually there on the edge, but that would be a good place for birds to come and peck there. They're not fully submerged in the water or anything, so they'd be able to stand on the mud there. Probably wouldn't sink in too bad. But then there probably is waterfowl out on the actual lake. Red-winged blackbird on a post. Oh, boat loading. Oh, so you can take boats out on there. Okay, that's nice. Life jackets, keep off the ice. Sure, sure. Oh, this is a nice place. I could come back here, do a little walk around the lake. I'm sure there's a trail that goes all the way around it, and then you can see it from all sides. It's a big lake, though. You get into that, like, you have a better chance of finding wildlife at a bigger, vast open area because it's safer for them. But then you don't get as good of pictures because nothing comes close to you. They have a lot of way to go to the other side of the lake, and you now they're no longer close. So it's a mix of, like, you got that, that's a bluebird. Oh, right in the tree above us. They're everywhere now. I can't manage to get a good photo of them. All right, I'm going to stop. It landed in the tree right behind me. It's a bit more neighborhood than I like to stop and take pictures at, but hey. We'll wait and see if it comes back. Nobody around. Window. So. I didn't see it. There's a gigantic a Colorado blue spruce right behind us, which is one I really want to try to get as a bonsai. I really want to try growing one. But they are notoriously difficult from everything I looked up. Yeah, I think we'll do better. If I move the GoPro to here, you'll get more of that and hopefully be able to see everything at eye level. And then if I move this one up to here, but keep it so it's not in my line of sight, that'll be face cam without it being obnoxious. And then I can roll down this window as well, so I can take pictures of both sides, which is something that I want to be able to do, I realized. Especially when I was driving through Rocky Mountain the other week. And there was stuff on that side, and it was like, well, there's only so much I can do because I have this thing suction cupped to the window. Dang it, I want a picture of a bluebird. The sun is out now. We're at a nice spot. I'm expanding what I'm doing a little bit. I mean, it's 9 o'clock. This would be you know, you're no longer getting that golden hour sun, but like it'll do, and I'll take it. I'm hoping that bluebird, it was flying this way, and it went over my head and up into that blue spruce. But it disappeared immediately, and I don't know if it moved again. I did not see it when I was looking. And I was hoping it'll keep going and laying on some of these trees in front of us. But I'm not seeing it. Hmm. Hmm. Well, dang it. There was certainly a chance, but I don't see it now. What is that big? What is that very big gull? Well, let's wait and hang out here a bit. I'll start the camera up again if I think of anything to talk about or if anything starts happening to wildlife, but I'm just going to sit and watch for a little bit. We've got a view. I might move a little bit, but right here, right in this area, there's plenty of trees around us, and I can hear birds even if I don't see any currently. It seems like a nice spot. So I'll sit here a little bit, wait and watch. Well, I didn't see the bluebird. One of these days.
Recording. 2 channels started.
Nope, 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 nope. Here, look out that way. Nice place. A nest of some kind right up there. Pretty cool. Would be nice to walk the trail and stuff. This is, oh, you know, nice open lake, big place. Why? Why, GoPro? Why have you done that? Something we need to fix about this, huh? I am so very tired of this thing. Why? God, these, like, mounts come unscrewed at the drop of a hat. Okay. What? Is that a squirrel? It's a black squirrel. Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen one of those in a while. I've seen the red ones as well. I mean, typically you get like brown ones. That's a pure black squirrel. Neat. All right. Anyway, that was that lake. Pretty cool. Might come back here. Good to know. Visited. I often go through and just find spots and look around and try to pin locations to then come to later on when I'm out and try to make trips out of it and kind of plan and figure out where to go. Thankfully, this arm thing won't be an issue too much longer in that spot because it's going to move over, and then it'll just be an issue over here. Maybe not. Hopefully. No, I think I'm switching out from the... It's not actually the arm. The arm seems to be fine. This, like, gooseneck, it's the double-ended attachment that just came unscrewed, came undone, didn't have enough weight. Wow. Big open area here. I bet the trail around the lake doesn't go that far. Oh, wow. I think they're getting ready to plant. They probably burned that field, huh? It's black. That's what you're missing. Completely black. Burned it so they could start over. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Up to speed. 45. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just driving at this point. Hello, goats. Lots of goats there. Yeah, I think about it in a couple different ways. Up, down, 30. For recording while I'm driving, if I put it back here, my only concern is the height of it then. And I might be able to put something on it, but it'll have a little attachment. I think I started talking a while ago about how annoying this is. I'm annoyed with the GoPro for a few reasons. One is it dropping, recording, not capturing. I don't know if that's a memory card issue, if that's a camera issue. I don't know what it is. Hopefully this new memory card seems to be doing okay so far. The other thing is the fact that, like, when I have to do anything... Oh, look at those ducks. It's a mallard and a white mallard? Is that albino? They had white little... No. What? Chicken. The other thing is that if I have an issue, like we were having the other day, sometimes the issues are fixed with batteries, like pull the battery out, right? Well, this is cool. Sure, let's go this way. Coming. Here we go. To pull the battery out is a little bit of a hassle when it's in this case because everything requires me to unscrew, like all of the a GoPro, if you've never had one, has a mount with like these two prongs. I don't know what else to call them. They're like two round, like stuff goes. It's the GoPro mount. It's what I've always thought of as that because it's the only thing I know that uses that. And it's a system where you've got, like, on the GoPro itself are these two rounded bits to hold on to things, and then on all the mounts are three, and then you interlock those together and you run a screw through all of that. But that requires you to unscrew it every single time, and yeah, that's not that bad. It's annoying. It's not, the end of the world, but I don't enjoy it necessarily having to swap it like that. So I do have coming some magnetic attachments as well instead that will clip into the bottom of the one that we have. So at least I can take that, stick it, like it's got the prongs on the bottom of it. It just goes as an in-between, so that'll raise it up slightly. But that allows me to just slap it on here, put it on my vest, put it on a tripod. Whatever it is I'm going to do, I can do that with those attachments that are magnetic as opposed to having to unscrew it every time. And that should make it a lot easier should I have an issue where I need to swap the battery. I'm not going, all right, I have to stop everything, unscrew this all the way, then put this on there. Like, it's just a nightmare of an annoyance every time. It's really not that bad. I'm complaining, about the smallest thing, but it is annoying. And especially when I'm out there and I'm like, great, now it's not recording, now it's not charging, which is something that it often does with this attachment. I need to pop the battery, which means I need to slide this part off, which means I need to do this, which means I need to unscrew, which, like, what a hassle. So I want to avoid that. Let's go this way. That magnetic attachment will hopefully solve that problem. and that would give it a little bit of oomph off the attachment mount that I'm going to put there. That's going to go off the headrest. It should see out. The only thing is I want more of like, I go back and forth between you're in the car next to me, so the camera should be here like it's recording, so you get that view of what's happening here, and then I just put my face in the corner in case you need a lip read or something, since I mostly talk. It's a vlog, that's the point. And I also go, well, I just want this. I just want you to see the scenery. I don't want the insides of the car. I don't want all that. And I especially don't want this showing personal information. I deal with that. You know how difficult it is to go in and remove people's last name from contacts in Google? It's the downside of an Android, I guess. It's really annoying to go do so because it syncs to Google contacts and they're in charge of it. And I can't message people and go, can you remove your last name? Because I'm trying not to leak your personal information, but I want you to be able to text me or call me with it not popping up with your info. Anyway. So yeah. Have I been here before? That seems familiar. There's the other side of that lake. Over that way. This is something we'll lose out on though if it's mounted here. It will no longer be on a swivel where I can just turn it and point it. That's not ideal, but like, what are we gonna do? You win some, you lose some. I think I'd rather have a permanent solution that is better than this. Move that over there. Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm figuring it out. We'll figure it out. It's going to be there. But anyway, I do have another errand to run. I'm not going to do that here. I'll wait until I go home. But I just thinking about it now. I just saw it down there on the floor. It's an attachment. Maybe next time I stop, I'll grab it. We got with the one. Okay, so Bonnie and I, for many years now, and myself especially, since I basically was a teenager and I used to drink soda and then it upset my stomach, and I realized, oh, if I don't do that, it doesn't upset my stomach. The carbonation, something about it, was upsetting, and the amount of it was not good for my health. And so I switched to just drinking water, and that's basically all I did. And then I got to the point where I can't drink soda. Not even drinking, like, if I have any amount, it seems, the carbonation of it will upset my stomach. So I just drink water, and that's been a 20-year thing almost. I don't think I was 13. No, I don't think we've been 20 years without really drinking any soda of any kind. And, occasional something here or there, but basically nothing carbonated. So water, right? That's a pretty big deal. I have a bunch of water bottles at home I'm always drinking out of, constantly keeping, I like as cold as possible water in the fridge. I keep it. For a while there, I was like, okay, I drink a lot of it, obviously, as well. And so I have a fair amount of water bottles. I think I was up to like 9 or 10 different water bottles. So I have a rotation of like going through them, and I can always grab one out the fridge, and then it's a hassle to refill them. And we've done the water pitcher before. That was something, it was like, I need constant cold water. And I gotta have that so that I can fill up a large cup and be ready to go. So we use the pitcher so that there's a water pitcher in the fridge. And that was annoying because you fill it up, you fill the top part, and then it drains all the way down. It's like, it takes so long to do that. Like, you fill it up and put it in the fridge, and then you hope that it's all drained out of there. And it would spill if there's any water still in the top part. It would spill when you go to pour it. Like, that's just a hassle. I don't have time for that. That's annoying. It becomes a chore to refill water bottles. But we did that. We've done that for many, many, many years. The entire time that we were living together up until we moved here. Like, we were doing that in all the locations I've been to while recording stuff, except when we moved into the place we are in currently. And I went, let's do something different. And we bought a filter to go, or actually, no, did I do it before when we lived up in the mountains or in Wyoming? We may have changed out at some point there, and I bought a filter that goes on your sink, on your nozzle. You then filter it from the sink, so you just get filtered water straight out the sink. So then we did that for a while, and that works, and then we just refilled the pitcher so we had cold water, because then it's no longer cold, right? Like, your two things, I want filtered water and I want cold water. And those sometimes are in conflict with each other. We finally bit the bullet. We were like, this is the thing we do. It's like how I justify TV purchases or console purchases. It is our thing. I watch everything, through my TV. That is the main source of entertainment. I don't mind spending money there. We're going to get our money's worth out of something like that. Or like when the newest console drops, we're going to get our money's worth out of buying the newest Xbox with a hands down. PlayStation, not so much. We buy it, but it's not, But the Xbox for sure, like the newest one drops, that's our big ticket. Like we're going to purchase this thing hands down. There's not a question about it if it pulls from savings, because we will get our money's worth out of that thing. There's very few things that do that, but that's one of them. And we drink water constantly, every day, filtered water. And we are constantly battling with, I fill up 8 or 10 bottles, or, sometimes I'll do 3 or 4 when I'm like, okay, I need to refill my bottles, or I wash them and then it's time to fill them up. And so I got to fill the pitcher because that's easier than trying to fill them at the sink. And then I'm using the pitcher, and Bonnie uses the pitcher, but she only has 1 mug and she drinks out of that, and then she doesn't refill it as often. And it annoys me a little bit because then I always have to refill it. It's a whole thing. Anyway, we finally decided not to do that anymore. And we bought a standalone water dispenser filtration system that does hot and cold out. I don't remember what, I think it's made by Avalon. I'm not endorsing it in any way, but we bought it. I like it so far. It's keeping the water cold. It's basically like a little mini fridge for that. So hopefully it's, efficient. I haven't gotten the power bill yet. We'll see, but worth it. It's like $150. Don't have to have the pitcher in the fridge. I don't need a full literal shelf of water bottles. That is what it is. We have 3 shelves in the door. The top shelf is condiments. The bottom shelf is condiments. The middle shelf is just water for Michael because of the amount of water that I drink and the fact that I'd rather not have to stop. If I need water, my reaction is not, I need to get it out the pitcher. That's for Bonnie, and I'll refill my stuff there. But I don't do it. And it's just been the look. It's how I live. That's how we've been doing it since we moved in. For going on 2 years now. Is that how long it's been? 3 years? When did we move here? I think we're going on 3 years since we moved down off the mountain. Ah, dang it, this lane ends. Oh, there's so many cars over there too. Crap. I hate this. Well, hopefully this bigger truck that's next to us goes slower so I can, don't go fast, don't go fast, don't go fast. Yeah, there we go. Hauling a trailer, perfect time. There we go. That worked out. I don't like having to be forced to merge stuff like that with these lanes that end very shortly after. I get why they do it. They do that. I think I talked about, I was like, why do they do that so often? And I thought about it harder the other day and was like, well, duh, they do it not just so, I don't remember if I talked about it there, but it was like, it's not just for the people going this direction and your lane opens up and they close it. It's for people turning right. Turn right onto that lane and then you have the time to move over so it doesn't back up the cross streets with people waiting to turn right. It's for turn lanes. That's the majority, but then it merges back down to 1. Anyway, the filter thing. So I buy this. It needs to attach under the sink. Now, I'm no plumber whatsoever, but I do want to install this, and I've done some stuff. I installed nozzles in my bathroom so that I have a hose attachment, so I can refill for water for watering plants, and I can water the plants and fill up a bucket, things like that for plant watering. I did that in the bathroom, and it was leaking. And I didn't need plumber's tape. And I learned that when you have compression, you don't use plumber tape on that because it needs a metal-on-metal seal in order to do it. That it compresses. It's compression. I learned that. And that's what we have under there. So I had to learn that mistake because I put the plumber's tape on it being like, yeah, it's leaking. Okay, put that on there. No, it's leaking worse. What's happening? Go to the internet. Oh, you're not supposed to use compression tape. You're not supposed to use plumber's tape when it's a compression. I learned that now. But it still it still started leaking. And it turned out the attachment that they sent that goes between the line that comes out, your cold water line that comes out from the wall and goes up, there's an off valve, and then it attaches to the hose. And the hose, when it hooks up there, it's fine. But as soon as I put this little T-way adapter on it so that it shoots the line, and now it's got a line coming out the side that is running up to my water dispenser, that leaked a lot. And I couldn't figure out why. And I go to the Home Depot and I talk to the kid there, and I was explaining, like, look, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying to understand it. And he's very helpful and very, he's nice. And he's looking at it. I brought the thing in with me and he's going, okay, so it's this line. And then you've got this. And you probably need this. And we're talking through that. And he's very budget conscious, which I really appreciate. He's like, this is probably your answer. It looks like, yes, there's a washer in there. But if the attachment, I show him pictures that I took of the setup under the sink that I couldn't bring with me, obviously. He's like, okay, yes, that's shorter. So it doesn't make the full connection. It needs to reach up into this bit that screws onto it to hit this washer there. So you can probably just add another washer. And we try a bunch of washers to find the one that fits. And the washers are like $2. And then he's like, or you replace it with this, which is a shorter connector. I don't know how well you can see this thing, but this is another T-way basically to replace the one that was there in case there was something wrong with that. But he said probably a washer. That's like $12. The washers were like $2. And I went, I'll buy both. And I'll just return this one if the washer indeed works. And the washer works, and it was fine. I put the washer in there. The two doubling up on the washers made the connection with the shorter 3/8 connector, the compression connector that comes out the wall. This one, it managed to get up in there. No more leaking. Everything's fine. The water comes out. Got cold filtered water. Perfect. Everything's great. And now I don't need a $12 adapter, so I can go return that and get my money back. So I got to run by a Home Depot. That's basically that story. That's everything that happened in the last week. Or that's what happened in the last week since we came out. And I got my recording studio stuff set up. If you're on Patreon, I did a whole video process of the breakdown and the mental breakdown of going through all of that. So we're just out in farmland, huh? And then there's a huge neighborhood over there. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. It used to all be farmland, and then more and more people expand, and I can't blame them. I want to be this far outside. What are we, like an hour from Denver? This is where I would want to live, is far outside the busy city. I do not want to live in a busy city anymore, ever again, I think. I don't mind visiting. I don't mind making a trip out of it, but as far as living in one, not so much anymore. Not so much. I think that's going to do it for today, honestly. It's almost 10 o'clock. I've been out for several hours. We looked. We didn't see much wildlife, but we did plenty of driving and talking. I've recorded as much, as I did, and it was a fun time. We visited that Macintosh Lake, and it seems like a nice place if I wanted to come back and walk around it when I'm in a walking mood. Walk with the camera. It's popular, but first thing early in the morning when the sun's risen, I bet there'd be some wildlife there, especially as we get closer into the. It's still a little cold. It rained today. It's cold at night. Snow is on the forecast. I don't know if that's going to happen because it's getting hot. In the apartment, it is getting hot. It's been upwards 79 and 80, and I've had the fans going to try to create a cross breeze to cool it off. It hasn't been working super well. Really avoiding trying to turn that AC on. And yeah, that's my goal, is to not have to run the AC and burn that money. But I do want to be comfortable. That is for sure. We're in Meade, Colorado now. I have no idea where I am. All right, I think I'm going to drive home. I think that's going to do it for today. We did mostly, I don't know what this was. This was just a vlog. This was just a driving vlog. This would typically go on Patreon. This is what it is. I try to do this once a month at the very least with some of the other exclusives that we do, where I just go out and drive around and explore and see what's out there and just talk and drive. And I'm doing this more, so I made it a bit of wildlife as well. And because this was a Saturday and the main thing, and I definitely don't have enough wildlife to do a wildlife vlog, and I didn't stop recording to specifically talk about doing wildlife stuff, which is what I would do. We'll just make this whole thing one. There was a lot of talking. It was probably more than 2 hours, wasn't it? Of actual recorded stuff as I just drive and talk. So I think that'll do it. Until next time, everybody, I'm going to drive. I'm going to go. We're just going to go on home. It's a QT over there. Club Car Wash. I could vacuum my car. It does need a vacuuming. It doesn't really need well, it does need a wash, but I do need to vacuum it. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. That was fun. I enjoyed it. Didn't see much wildlife, but we still got out. We made the most of it as we can. Weather cleared up nicely. Maybe it won't actually snow. It was supposed to rain the entirety of today, but the sun is out. The storm passed. And I'm just repeating myself now, aren't I, as I wrap up. So that'll do it. Until next week. Next time. 2 weeks out. I got a plan. We got a thing. We'll be doing it then. We'll talk more about that in the future. That's going to look different too. This one was a bit different from usual with the wildlife. That one's going to be very different as well. And there'll be some exclusives on Patreon for that as well, depending on what I do. I got to figure it out. We're trying something new, something different. Come back in 2 weeks if you want to see that. It'll be cool. All right. Bye, everybody.